All right, it's road trip time. Let's get in this car. It has been so long since I have been on the road. I'm going to be taking this person and this truck out to Wyoming. We're going to Yellowstone to meet up with a bunch of friends and do a bunch of ham radio stuff. If y'all don't know, I have a ham radio channel. I will link it at the top up there for you. It's going to be a long drive. This is putting an end cap on the summer for me. And after that, I mean, the summer still has another month to go, I guess. After that, we are leaving the town that we're staying in. We're getting into the new trailer and we're getting on the road finally. There has been a lot of work that has gone into getting this far. And honestly, we're still not done because life is never done. And that's something that is important that I want to share with y'all. Do not let life get in the way of whatever it is that happens to be your current dream. Live your life in the present and set some aside for the future for sure, but don't set it all aside for the future. And that's one of the things that I wind up getting stuck in is I'm always thinking about the future. I'm always working on tomorrow and I'm always working on how I'm going to get there. And sometimes I need to slow down. And that's what this trip's going to be about. Let's get on the road. Well, this isn't a Ford Expedition. You guys didn't actually think I was going to sign up to drive my big red truck out here 1,600 miles back and forth from Yellowstone to Wisconsin, let alone drive the big white truck, which gets even less miles per gallon. This is going to be interesting. I am at the first supercharger stop, and what I did was I rented a Tesla Model 3 from Turo, and just wanted to see what it was about. Know your enemy. So the first thing I did was I went to Tesla's website and I plotted the trip out to see if they actually said, no way, you can't do this, or yeah, there's plenty of charging stations along the way. So here I am at the first charge. The battery's at 76% and it wants me to stop already. Tesla knows best. In Elon we trust, I guess. Let's get charging. All right, so first for me too. Pull this thing off. Does it open up automatically? Nope, I got to push a button or something, I guess. Oh, I pushed the button. It thinks it's doing something. Yep, it's definitely doing something. It turned green. It's making noise. You can hear it. You can actually hear it charging inside the car too. We are 417 miles worth of charge per hour, 1 kilowatt hour, 96 kilowatt, charge limit 100%, 6 minutes remaining to continue the trip. And apparently if you stay at the pump, if you stay at the supercharging station longer after you're finished charging, it starts to charge you for that too. Like, these things are a precious commodity, get out of the way. Which is nice because that's the way gas pumps are too if you really think about it. Charging at Monticello, Minnesota, session energy 2 kilowatt hours, price 36 cents per kilowatt hour, session cost 72 cents. Idle fees may apply. That's what I was talking about. If you stay later, 50 cents per minute. But she's charging, and there's not much I can do. I can unlock the charging port. I guess you can't yank it out while it's in the middle of charging. Pretty slick. So apparently I'm conserving more fuel than they projected on this trip. If I stayed below 70 miles an hour, I would have saved 7.7% on this trip. I promise I never went above 70 miles an hour. Well, I got a couple of minutes to get the car ready and get set up and do my thing, so I'm going to do that. And so now it's telling me I have enough charge to continue the trip, or I have 9 minutes left to charge limit. So I have a decision to make. I think I'm going to find a bathroom is what I'm going to do. Yellow alert, the battery's turning yellow. I got 18% battery left. I got 4.7 miles to my next turn. And it looks like I've got 6 minutes, 5.2 miles to the next charging station. Edge of your seat, folks.
Now take exit 54 on the right. In 1,000 feet, turn right onto West Lincoln Avenue. Now turn right onto West Lincoln Avenue. In 500 feet, turn left onto Western Avenue. Now turn left onto Western Avenue. Now turn left onto Frontier Drive. Now turn left. Now you have arrived at your destination.
Okay, so now it says Sentry mode currently unavailable, insufficient charge. Let's do it. And it doesn't reach. Let's try this a second time. And I wasn't that far off the line in the other parking space. 17% charging. Where does it say how long it will take? There he goes. 30 minutes remaining to continue trip. Now I have to find something to do for 30 minutes. This supercharger station is in a Perkins parking lot. We have 15 minutes left until we're finished charging. Taco Bell was the nearest closest option that looked like food. And they have, I know. Bear with me for a second. They have this new menu system in there, if you haven't been in a while, where you can, you know, tap out all the ingredients you want and you can get like halfway decent stuff loaded up for not a bad price. So now I've got about 14 minutes to kill before I have to get back on the road, which is probably just enough time to eat. But if you're ever bored, pick up the ham radio hobby. You will never be bored again. I'm currently playing with a new radio. This is gonna be about $200 worth of fun on this road trip. There is a link up top here for the video where I am playing with that. This is interesting. I'm at Fergus Falls, Minnesota right now, and then my next stop is at the Jamestown Supercharger. It's gonna take me about 30 minutes to charge. I'm gonna stop at a hotel before then. And then after that, from Jamestown to Bismarck, gonna leave me at 15, and from Dickinson, it's gonna leave me at 15%. I don't know about that 7%, but I got time on the trip, so I'm gonna have an adventure. Will I make it? I don't know. We'll have to see. I guess it depends on traffic and how much I can keep my foot out of it. Staying below 70 miles per hour would have saved 3.8% on this trip, telling me my driving is 59.6% of battery consumption and my climate is 3.9% of battery consumption. And to be fair, I did sit in a park for about 2 hours in the car with the air conditioning on at 83 degrees outside, not going anywhere. So that also ate into some of the battery, and I didn't have a problem. So we'll keep playing. You have enough energy to continue on your trip. And up here at the top, it's saying 94%. That was 30 minutes, 94%. We're at 93% charging here. We're preconditioning battery for fast charging, and we're almost all the way charged. It wants me to go to the nearest charging station, which I was just at last night before I went into the hotel room. I don't know why it's doing all of that, but you can actually kind of hear it a little bit in the background. I don't know what it is doing, but man, it was racing there and it wanted me to charge up. I was here for about a half an hour last night and it wants me to charge again. It says 13 minutes remaining. And then there's your cost breakdown, 36 cents per kilowatt hour. Father Elon knows. I will follow Father Elon's guidance and teachings. This is strange. I don't know why I would need to fill up again. It's 92%. Maybe it knows how far away the next charging station is, but I'm gonna play it by ear. If there's something interesting to stop at today, I'm gonna stop. We'll see what happens. It should adjust itself and recharge properly at the next charging station. We have a whole bunch of other problems, and we need to fix them all. So this is pretty cool on the dashboard. This car here is me, and then that car right there, and that truck up front is right up there. It knows. It's got a little radar in it telling you which cars are where. So as the car gets closer, starts to show up closer on the virtual dashboard. So that car is right there. At least it's not yelling at me that I didn't go to a supercharger, because remember, it's the one that tells me where to go. 8 minutes remaining, 143 kilowatt hours, 630 miles per hour. That's fast. That's not what it's saying, but that's fast. This is $1.44 in fuel, 36 cents per kilowatt hour. We're gonna pull in a whole 5 kilowatt hours. And we're in Jamestown, North Dakota. By the time I got it all set up for recording for you guys, we got a whole 2% in there with 13 now. 763 miles per hour. 12 minutes until we get back on the road. Now is a really good time to turn off the steering assist. That has been annoying the crap out of me forever. You get close to that line, it don't like it. It starts yelling at you. And there's a little camera in the car. Right there. There's a little camera that's watching you. And it knows, at least it thinks it knows, that you're not paying attention. If you look out at the scenery a little bit too much, it's a little too nanny for me. So we're charging again. I got the charging station behind me. It says 30 minutes this time, and there's like some kind of farmer's market or fair or something over here. So I'm walking over to the farmer's market. I'm gonna kill a half an hour there. It's like Tuesday night here in middle of nowhere, North Dakota. Sure, this is somewhere to somebody. Vegetables, bakery, brisket, corn dogs. Nice. That's how I shop. Walk through, done. Mostly because I'm on a road trip and there's not really much I can do with that stuff anyway. What am I gonna do with a quart of honey on a road trip? I'm gonna get all sticky is what I'm gonna do. Make a mess in the car and have to pay the insurance premium. Nah. So the car's fun to drive, but being at the supercharger stations is kind of weird. There is usually nothing here. This one is rare. It actually has the windshield cleaner thingy. But most of them are just kind of in an armpit parking lot somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I think these things could really benefit from moving to like a gas station type scenario, or like a little convenience store or something. So like behind me is Qdoba, Jimmy John's, and Starbucks, and in front of me is the farmer's market thing that we just walked through. And there's a gas station way down there, but a lot of times there isn't. The last one I stopped at didn't have anything special at it, so who knows. This one's pretty popular though. It is 4:45, so it's kind of, you know, drive time. This charger is in Dickinson, North Dakota. Making progress, putting miles under the tires. Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Gonna blow your mind, because my mind's already blown and I'm not even at the overlook yet. Well, that's a little confusing. It says charging needed to reach destination, and then it also tells me that I will arrive at my destination with 22% battery remaining, and it's not telling me that there's another charging station along the trip. I'm a little confused. I don't know what to do here. I'll figure it out. I'll report back. Not happy about this. All right, I am not less confused. What I did was I canceled the navigation and then I restarted the navigation, and it tells me 3 hours, 27 minutes, 165 miles, and I will arrive at the campsite with 22% battery remaining. We'll find out. I'm only a tow truck away if there's a problem. Kind of crazy. Oh, and if it makes any difference, I'm at 100% battery right now. I made it! This here is right at Gardner, Montana. I still got to get into Wyoming though. Remember the last time I was recording and I said I was worried that I was going to run out of battery because it told me I was going to run out of battery? And then I reset the maps and everything was fine? Well, it turns out I'm running out of battery power, and I'm also out of cellular internet range, so it has no idea how to get me to the nearest battery charger. However, this is where I'm not happy. I believe I passed it coming in, and it didn't think that the destination I had programmed in was too far away from the nearest charging station. I kind of feel like it should know, because charging stations are rare. What do? Call a tow truck. No happy. Oh, and to make things more fun, no cell phone service either. You know, assuming that the car is on a different carrier than my cell phone is. And it's raining, and it's getting dark. Adventure. See, I thought about it. I thought about, why don't I just stop and get a charge? What's it gonna hurt? Then I thought, trust Father Elon. Father Elon knows best. I'm backtracking. Not happy about it. All right, there you have it. 2% remaining when I get to the charging station, 30 miles away. It's gonna be tight. If it was okay to go to the campground for the night, the ultimate destination in the onboard GPS in the car, and still make it to the nearest supercharging station in the morning, you know, first drive, it should have said something. It did bother to tell me that you're almost too far out of range of a charging station. Kind of knew everything it needed to know. It didn't know where I was going after the campground, but could have told me something. So again, I'm taking responsibility for it. I'm solving the problem, but they knew. They can do something with that knowledge. You have enough fuel to reach your destination and the nearest charging station. Prepare accordingly, as opposed to, you're almost too far out of range, charge now. Just when I was starting to like this car again, too. I made it with 2% to spare, maybe even 3%. 25%, 10 minutes remaining to continue the trip. I am a little worried that continue the trip is continue to the campground and not have enough juice to get back to the charger though, so I'm gonna let it charge a little bit longer. We'll see. There it is. It says arrived with 3.5% remaining in the tank. A 5.4 mile per hour wind from the west cost me 0.5% of this trip, and I only consumed 0.6% less than projected, which it projected I would arrive safely, and I didn't arrive, so who knows? The vacation is over, and I am headed back to the house. And this car is way too dependent on Wi-Fi, or cellular internet, or whatever. I had to go to a friend's campsite and bum some Wi-Fi in order to plan my route out of the campsite to get back onto the main road. And then the second that I drove away from the Wi-Fi, it lost its mind again because there's no cellular coverage. It is way too dependent. It should have downloaded the route map. And these are, you know, black and white maps. This is not a whole lot of data. Take a look at this. No clue. So, I mean, I've hopefully memorized a bit of where I'm going and can get myself to the nearest charging station, which will be in a town that has a little bit better cellular coverage, and then I'll be able to get the data in order to get me back on track to where I'm going. But this is a pain in the butt. Not recommended for any kind of long-term driving, especially when you plan on doing anything away from cellular coverage, which is, oddly enough, a large portion of the United States. So in-city driving, probably fine. Around town, probably fine. You know, suburban areas, urban areas, probably fine. But when you start getting out into areas that I like, where there are trees and lakes and wilderness and fun things to do, not so much. Some good things about the car. It has ludicrous acceleration. It is fantastic on accelerating. They have kind of redesigned some of the way the car works because of the intended purpose and the intended audience of the car. But like, there's no emergency brake. The car automatically puts the emergency brake on when it's stopped. You don't really turn the car off or turn the car on. You just kind of get in the car and go, and get out of the car and leave. And the car kind of figures out, hey, I haven't really gone anywhere in a while. I'm probably not going anywhere still. That bong, it's in Joe mode, so it's extra quiet. That was me turning the cruise control on. Some bad things about the car are the windshield wipers come on at random times. The driver assist features are super annoying. When you have the driver assist features on, like the lane divergence warning stuff, the car stares at you and it thinks that you're not paying attention. Car, I have peripheral vision. I know how to look out of the side of my eyes. It's fine. Look at this guy passing me. I'm doing 10 over the speed limit, just got passed. A lot of times when you're on the major highway and there's nobody around for miles, I really don't see a reason to turn my turn signal on to tell nobody in particular that I'm changing lanes. And the car resists you changing lanes and gongs and beeps and yells at you, and like, just turn all that stuff off. I can stay within the lane. I'm okay. I know what I'm doing. I used to drive in Northern Virginia rush hour traffic, and if I put my turn signal on, that was telling the person next to me to close the gap and not let me in. So a learned skill for heavy traffic regions was to not use turn signals because people are rude. The side view mirrors are very difficult to change. And normally you don't change them that much, but I will change them if there's a car behind me with super bright headlights at night, or if the sun is shining directly into the side view mirror and reflecting into my eyeballs. That kind of hurts also. And on most cars, it's on the driver's side left door and very easy to reach from the driver. But in this car, it's like 4 menus deep on the touchscreen. And then once you get the option selected, you can rotate the little knobs on the steering wheel to move the mirror around. But that's not safe in my mind. It needs to be more accessible, and touchscreens are not accessible for drivers. As the driver of a car, you need to be able to manipulate the major controls of your vehicle without looking, and that feel is important. Like, I want to reach over and turn the dial to turn the heat down, or turn the dial to turn the volume up, or something along those lines. And those buttons should never move. They should always be in a specific location. They should always work the same way. They shouldn't have multiple functions to them. They should just work. The parking assist thing is a little slow. Usually by the time it tells me to stop, I've already stopped the car, taken my seatbelt off, and I'm halfway out of the door. And one of the major annoyances is when you pull up to a supercharger station, Tesla makes the cars. Tesla's designed the supercharger. I'm sure they've had some input on how the supercharger station should function, layout, operate, etc. If I pull the car into the parking lane where the supercharger station is, there's an even 50% chance that the power cord from the supercharger will not reach the car. So I've had to rearrange the car at least twice on this trip. And this is a 1,600-mile trip. So if I was a urban, suburban, or city-type dweller, Tesla would be a fine car to have. But I am not. My lifestyle is I like to hit the open road and go places and see sights and go where the wind takes me, and you cannot do that in a Tesla. It requires way too much forethought and way too much planning. The world is just not yet landed on electric cars for the masses. They're fun, they're nice toys. I had fun driving it. Would not own one myself. As a commuter car, they are pretty fantastic though, because some places, if you find the right place to work, they actually offer decent parking close to the building with electric car charging. So like, you get good parking and it's covered and you don't have to pay for fuel to get back and forth to work. That's a win. Let the car charge for 8 hours on the company dime. I can do that. And they think it's a benefit because they think they're saving the planet. They're really not. But you do what you got to do to make your own life work. I got this car off of Turo.com, Turo.com. And it has worked out really well to rent the car from Turo. Find the car you want. Lots and lots of people have rented their personal vehicles out for hire. That allows me to pick up something fun to play with, like the Tesla Model 3. They had Cybertrucks, they had fancy sports cars, they had pickup trucks, they have everything you can imagine out there. No hassles. And the price is pretty good. This car in 2024 was $71 a day, and I got it in Minnesota, just outside of the Twin Cities in Maple Grove.